If we jump across, what we've got next is our section that's looking at more of the system settings. So here, as I mentioned, you can set up things like your defaults for your PDF exports. We do find that PDF is probably the most used format for exporting data out, and there is a lot of configurability here. So here is where you can set up all those default configurations. So things like the heights, whether it's shrinking to a page or not, whether images are scaled. That's a very useful section there to make sure your PDFs are exporting in the most usable format. We also have some of the general settings. So with Yellowfin 7.2, a key item here is the ability to flick between the standard Yellowfin authentication that you see here, that you've seen in the past versions of Yellowfin, and even into other types, so the new left side navigation. So if I just quickly turn that on, you'll see now we have the new Yellowfin form of navigation, which is the left side navigation. So that's one key item there that's found within your configuration section within your general settings, and there's a range of items there that are used for things like logging, for proxy servers, for timeouts, and you can easily set those up. The next section I mentioned is more around regional. So here you can easily set up default time periods. So I might be looking at, okay, I need to make this a London time zone across my environment, so I can set this here very easily. I can define the formats of the text. So if I'm using particular 1000 separators, I can make those customized to my particular regional area. And even with my language settings, here I can actually deploy my multi-language environment. So I could define the languages that I might want my content to be translated into within Yellowfin. So that's where you would find the language, the date settings, the text formats, and those regional type of configurations. The next one here was the authentication. So here we can easily set up how we want the users to be authenticated. So whether you use things like your logon IDs or your email addresses to actually log in, you've got configurability there. The two key ones that you do see here will be the authentication method, so the ability to use something other than Yellowfin's built-in authentication. We see this used quite a lot, where a user might select an LDAP source, and we can then define maybe an Active Directory or an LDAP source that you might want to use to authenticate your users and be able to manage user access, user groups, and have that flow across into Yellowfin. So whenever I change authentication to LDAP, that will be available. The other item we'll see here is the client organizations. So the ability to turn this on. And then what you'll see is client organizations, if I just save this, will be available in the administration section. So I can now go into my client organizations, and I'll show a little bit more of that a little bit later. So probably the last item I'll show you here in configuration is, if we look at the integration side of things, you'll be able to see the ability to quickly and easily add in your own custom headers. So this could be a JSP, it could be a page. You can choose what your instance is going to look like, whether you show the client they're currently in, maybe the role and the user that we're currently looking at. You can also go and change things like your toolbars, your navigation, so you can easily configure a little bit more of that look and feel for Yellowfin in this page. So what I can do, I might just turn those off again, so I'll just leave my client on, and we can go with that. So that's when you're looking at the configuration section, really being able to manage a lot of the look and feel, the style, and how Yellowfin's operating more at a system level for you. So what I can do now is jump across back to my content, and we see the next section that we're going to look at is the administration panel. So if we jump across, this is what you see on the right hand side. There'll be a number of items there looking at the management of parts of Yellowfin. So you'll see here things like managing the sessions of your users, schedules, so things like distributions, dashboards, licensing, background, executions. So all these items I'm going to go through individually in a little bit more detail for you, and what I might do is jump across a few times to show you that in my real-time environment. So firstly, the thing you'll see here on the right hand side is your session management, and this is very simple and easy to use to manage which users are currently logged into Yellowfin, to check things like IP addresses they're coming from, which organizations or client organizations they're logging into, and even session times. So if you do have a user who might be set, you might need to close a session, so you can easily refresh and delete a session from this panel. You'll also be able to manage your schedules in the schedule management. So I might just jump across to show you this one in more detail. So this will consist of everything that's automated or scheduled within Yellowfin. So if I go to my example here, I just have a few reports that are currently scheduled, but as you see by the types of schedules, this can manage a range of different options. So it can manage the broadcast that you might have, things like filtering, caching of filter sets, of views, of composite views, any reports that are running automatically. So it's managing all those different scheduled elements that are happening within Yellowfin. And what you will have the ability to do is to click on any of these and manage or edit or configure them individually. So I could do things like, if I have this set to run every day, I need it to run now, I could click that item to set that off. I could also pause schedules, edit them, delete them as well. So this would be your main section for managing the scheduling and automation and reviewing that of your whole environment. One particularly useful thing here is the ability to view by status. So you can then occasionally come back into this section, look for failures, and be able to see just those amongst all the other schedules and automated processes that you might have within Yellowfin. So what I can do is go back now and we can look at the next section, and that will be the dashboard management. And this is again similar to the schedule management. So here you'll be able to see all the dashboards that are in Yellowfin. You'll be able to see a lot of the information around those. So as you can see here, we've got our descriptions, we've got our explanations, we've got our security here. So as well as being able to apply security when you're editing a dashboard, you can manage it here. So a good example of that, if I go to my dashboard, what I could do is I could edit this and manage security, but what I could also do in a more streamlined process is go to my administration section, and what I can do is go to my dashboard management, and I could instantly say, if I click on this item, we could say that we want to make this now private and change the users or the subscribers that are viewing this dashboard. So it's a very easy way to manage a whole lot of dashboards, a large number at once, or even be able to go straight to that dashboard to view it as well. So there's a nice bit of functionality there, some configurability for reviewing that at a higher level. So I might just jump back to my admin console again and move across to my content. The next item you'll see under there is your license management. So what this will do, this will allow you to view your current license. So you'll be able to see details like what is the current setup of your license. So is this a named user license? Is this a concurrent? Is it the server? You'll be able to see the number of users for each part of that license, and also view how many of those you're currently using. So be able to view maybe how much space you have, whether you can add 3 more users into your Yellowfin environment. What you can also do is have the ability to upload new licenses. So this could be a license file that you've been sent from Yellowfin. Maybe once you've renewed your license, that could be something you upload here, or even manage your reminder schedules. So I could click on any of these schedules in my administration section and add users so that I do get these automated reminders to make sure my license does not run out and it's always renewed on time. One new thing with Yellowfin that you will see in 7.2 that you may not have seen in older versions is background execution. So what this will let you do is view all the items that are running within Yellowfin. So this is looking at more content. So we could see here we might be running 3 large reports. We can see them running in the running section. Maybe you've got Yellowfin set up to run 3 at the most, so there maybe are a couple of reports waiting to be run. So what you'll have the ability to do here is to stop those reports, is to promote those reports, or even cancel those queries. So you'll have a lot more management over what is running within Yellowfin if you do find that there's long running reports